Well, welcome Life West community to another Life West podcast. Today, I've got two wonderful people from the world of postgraduate and continuing education. I've got Laurie Isenburg with us. Welcome, Laurie.
Thank you.
Laurie is our director of postgraduate and continuing ed, and I also have Victoria Davis with us. Welcome, Victoria.
Thanks for having me.
I'm glad to have you. Victoria is our program coordinator. So I've got the whole department with me, and it's great to be with both of you. So let's jump in, with our whole community. So Laurie, is there anything that you want to share about anything new and exciting going on in the world of, postgraduate and continuing ed?
Oh, so much. Well, I want to back up a second and just talk about how postgraduate education is part of the life cycle of Life West. So when we think about Life West, we often think about our own DC students first, but what happens to those students when they leave? They're still part of our community, right? We want to keep them with us. And postgraduate or continuing education is one way to offer service to those folks, our alumni and members of the chiropractic community. It's a way to bring us together and keep us together in vitalism. So that's really great.
Nice.
And in terms of what's new, with COVID, it's been quite a ride for chiropractors in California. And something that just happened late last week is that the Board of Chiropractic Examiners, who regulates continuing education for chiropractors in California, they finally decided to allow California chiropractors to get all of their continuing education online. And that is a huge relief for these folks, because all the chiropractors have been wondering how, when, where, why am I going to get my live CE? So that's big news for us.
If I could sing, it would be like a hallelujah and the angels coming down. All that. But it wasn't the board. It was Department of Consumer Affairs, because that's who the board is under. So they were waiting on something, and that was really great. So it is great news. And I know we're going to be giving a lot of, continuing ed cycles so that we can get everyone their online quote or online/live CE credits.
That's right.
Victoria, tell our audience, just share with them, what you're doing, your role in the department and how that's working.
Yeah, well, I'm basically the butter that churns around here. You know what I mean?
Smooth as butter, right? Smooth as butter.
Smooth as butter. That's what I'm known for. So, but yeah, basically, I basically take charge of very much like my title, coordinating everything that is continuing education related. So when you're looking for your certificates or how much credit you got, when the board needs to be reported to directly about how many credits a person got from a specific state, that's me. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing for our community here, making sure that our setup is good to go for in-person seminars, which we, for instance, had one last weekend. So everything from the table setup to the AV equipment for instructors to the notes that get printed out and things like that. I do have a few work study students that work with me that are always delighted to help me out and things like that on the day of seminars. But everything kind of leading up to that point is what I do. So I'm basically like the rubber stamp on everything. Typically comes from me. So I coordinate and make everything churn.
I love it. Like you seal the envelope, right?
Seal the envelope, quite literally sometimes.
And that's a wrap, right?
And that's a wrap, exactly. That's right.
I love it. Laurie, share with our audience, with our community, what were you doing before Life West? You've been with us 5 years, right? What were you doing before that?
Well, I've been in academia my entire adult life. I just never wanted to leave school. I love school. So I actually was an academic librarian for about 14 years. I ran libraries at colleges. And after that, I spent 10 years at the Graduate Theological Union in Berkeley, California, running continuing education programs and summer session, all sorts of things. This amazing consortium that brought together people from just about every religion you can think of in a graduate studies environment where they all work together. It was really fascinating. And so that helped lay the groundwork for continuing education here at Life West.
Yeah, and I do want to thank you and let our viewers know that continuing ed at Life West has probably just moved tenfold, from when you came in 5 years ago to where we are now. I mean, from everywhere, from, what we're doing, who we're reaching, the software, the technological, everything is just transformed. And Laurie, I know that's a lot, most of that came from you, that you're being in it. So thank you for that. And our alumni and just chiropractic doctors, our alumni and friends, all the chiropractors who get to take post-ed, just great. So thank you.
Thank you.
Victoria, tell us, what life before Life West?
Oh, wow. Well, life before Life West has been full of all types of things, really, for me. To begin with, so I'm from Los Angeles, California, from the LA area, born and raised there. And when it was time to go to college, I moved to Davis to go to UC Davis. Got my bachelor's there in human development. But before I graduated, I got very, very involved and interested in athletic training. Mm-hmm. So I was an athletic trainer for a while for UC Davis, as well as for Davis High School, not too far away. And I figured, maybe I should make this official. So I moved on from that and came back down to the LA area, went to Cal State Long Beach, got my master's in sports management and kinesiology. And from there, did a lot of different work here and there, and then landed a really sweet job with the LA Clippers, the NBA, National Basketball Association, with the LA Clippers. I, however, happen to be a very, very avid Laker fan.
I was going to say, I saw that coming, and you were smooth as butter making that transition.
Yeah. Very avid Laker fan. Go Lakers. Game 1 of the finals is today, so that's a really big deal. The Clippers actually happened to be a good team at the time. It was the first time that they were actually good, was around the time I was working for them. So, nobody gave me too many issues on that. But basically, I worked in the realm of professional sports and sports management and technology and things like that for a good amount of time before I moved back up to the Bay Area here. And then when I moved back up to the Bay Area, did a few other things, worked for the corporate wings of 24-hour fitness and things like that. But my goal was always to work in academics, very similar to Laurie here. I love school. I love going to school. I love knowledge and learning. I'm a scientist, right, at heart. So it's always been really important for me to stay in that realm of academics and things. And then, I had the opportunity to learn about Life West, and I gave it a shot. And, after a while, got a chance to speak with Laurie, and we had an awesome interview and all that good stuff. And then I found my calling here in CE with Laurie. So I've been learning a lot about continuing education, how important it is, and all of those things. And I'm just, really delighted to be a part of this team and really be pushing the envelope and moving things forward in the profession.
Awesome. Listen, do not be surprised if you have, 600 plus students coming to you to hit you up for Clipper tickets when they come to Warriors. Now, we don't know if you still have connections or not, but it reminds me of a movie. Laurie, I don't know if you saw this movie. It was called Mrs. Right, I believe it was. Have you seen it with Queen Latifah, where she's she's the trainer for the Clippers or whoever? Yes. I don't know, maybe it's Celtics and moved to LA. I don't know the whole thing, but it just kind of, that was running in my head. Well,
yeah. I mean, after the Lakers, win the NBA championship this year, I'm not sure if I'll have many friends on the Clippers anymore, but we'll see what we can do.
Hey, it's still LA. It's still bringing a championship back to the city. Right?
That's right.
Well, Laurie, I have to tell you this. If there's any place that we want to lose Victoria to, right, it'll be to the chiropractic program, because from what she just said, if admissions hears this, they will be knocking on your door, Victoria. So you've got everything you need. You're a researcher. You're a scientist. You've got all this stuff. Anyways,
that's right.
And Laurie would probably
I've heard that before.
It would probably be the only way that she will let you go is
right.
On that side.
Maybe we'll see.
You'll still be a work study, okay? So she's not.
Laurie's a tough one. I don't know if she can let that happen.
I love it. Well, listen, we always end our podcast in the same way. We've kind of hit that witchy minute, but it's really cool. And I'm going to ask Laurie first, and then Victoria, I'm going to ask you the same question. So just think of it when I say this, okay? We always ask the same question. I want you to know that the answer can change. Well, the answer you give right now could be different 15 seconds later, or 10 minutes or whatever. So what I'm saying is there's no wrong answers to this, right? And it's really more about what's happening within you at the moment. So, the ethos of our college is lasting purpose, to give, to do, to love, and to serve, right? Out of our own abundance. So give, do, love, and serve. Out of those 4 words, and Laurie, I'll ask you first, out of those 4 words, which one of them resonates with you right now? Just right now, like I'm saying, it could be different later, and why?
I think it's do. I think I'm a doer. I like to just plow through things and make change and plan new things and make it happen. And so I love to do. That's where I'm at.
I love it. Victoria, how about you?
Well, you know what? For me, Dr. Oberstein, as soon as you said that and you asked me to give the one thing that resonated, the first thing was actually love. I'll tell you why. The reason is because I was partially raised by my grandmother, very, very influential woman in my life, the most important woman in my life. And of all things, she has always taught us that whenever you do anything, you do it out of love. Whether you're serving, you serve out of love. Whether you're doing out of love. If you're loving out of love, right? So I think love in particular for who you are, for what you do, for the people you serve, for me in particular, has to come first before I can move forward and do anything more than what I'm already doing.
Yeah. Both of those answers are beautiful, just beautiful. So, ladies, thank you. I so appreciate having you on the podcast today, and I'm just thrilled that our community gets to know you better. And when they find you, when they come down to your office to say hello, once everything's kind of back up and everything's going, please stop by and visit these two wonderful people, because you guys are really doing a massive amount of great things for our profession, not just our college, but for our profession, right? And continuing education, postgraduate education, and you're moving the needle, and I really appreciate it. And I'm speaking not as the college president now, I'm speaking as a doctor of chiropractic who is part of the California community and the whole community of chiropractic. So thank you both for all that you do.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Oberstein.
You're welcome. And to our Life West community, just when you're back on campus at some point and things have simmered down, make sure you stop by and see these two wonderful people, because they have a lot to share and a lot to offer. And until our next podcast, just keep living your life from above down, inside out, and taking care of yourself, and just spreading the love and doing the do. I love those two. All right. Till our next podcast, we're signing off for right now.